What's up, guys? TechShotty here with another look at some of the figures we got this week. Today we're looking at the GI Joe Classified Cobra Zartan from the Ninja Force series or line or whatever, subline that they were doing. So the crazy thing about it, I did something that I hadn't done in a very long time, and I actually had to sort of hunt for this guy. Normally what I do is I get the figures from one Target. If there's a Target exclusive, I'll go to the Target on the day of release, and they normally get some in. And usually the Target that I go to, they don't put them on the floor on the day or the night of. I don't know why they don't do that, but I've had luck getting a lot of my exclusives from there with no problem. You know what I mean? I was able to get, and this started a while back, I think with Tiger Force Bazooka. I think that's the one I noticed. I was able to get him and then Recondo, on the day of. I just get up early in the morning, Sunday, and head over there. But I changed my strategy because another Target had Desert Scorpion, and I was looking on Facebook. There was some posts saying that he was on clearance. I said, okay, well, let me just go over there, grab my Zartan, get Desert Scorpion on clearance, and make it a day. Because I think the price for the Desert Scorpion, I think went down to like $13 or something like that, or $16, something decent price. And I already have two of those guys. I just need one more for my little three army pack. But anyway, I got there, Zartan was gone. I got there a little late from closing. I think 8:05, I think, is when I walked in. And I did see a guy with 4 in his hand. Obviously, not sure what his story is. Not sure if he was a scalper or if he was someone trying to sell these for his friends, or he just wanted 4 of them. I mean, I don't know what people do, if they want to buy, I just kind of like, screw it. And then, Desert Scorpion wasn't even on clearance. They didn't have it on clearance at that point. So I said, screw this. I'm like, let me go check that Target that I normally go to. And luckily, he was not on the shelf. He was still in the back. Cool guy got him for me, and I was very thankful. I hate bugging the employees, though. I just feel weird about that. I mean, you know what I mean? They're busy. They're doing their own thing, and here I am interrupting their day to give me a figure, and it just seems weird. But he was actually super nice and super cool, so I was able to, get that. I know, and I initially helped other collectors because they put them out for the other people too. But anyway, long story short, lesson learned for these exclusives. I'm just gonna go and grab it. Today they did put up Scarlet and I forgot his name. What's his name? Scarlet. The 2-pack they did today, I forgot what the other guy's name is. But anyway, that went up. I was able to get up early enough to grab them on Pulse. I didn't do the Target thing because like I said, here's my tip. If you want these and you miss them out on the pre-orders, or if you don't want to bother with pre-orders, just go on that morning, that Sunday morning, or first thing in the morning, and ask for them. They'll get some eventually in. They will. I've had no problems. They had Breaker the morning of. They had this guy. They had, whatever. I'm just saying, So I was able to look at it again on Hasbro Pulse, which I really want to do in the first place because I'd rather just them ship it to me and I don't have to worry. But, that's my tip. All right, anyway, so as we can see in the packaging, this guy looks super badass. I'm very surprised on how well this figure has been doing because a lot of people complain about G.I. Joe when they did the funky colors they did online. I didn't have no problem. I mean, of course, at that moment, I was not collecting anymore. I was not buying toys at that point when this came out. But I saw this figure and I was like, this is pretty cool. And he looks really great. As you can see, it comes in the standard G.I. Joe classified packaging with the Cobra and the Ninja Force. And it's kind of weird because I never knew Zartan to be a ninja. You know what I mean? I thought he was more like hand-to-hand combat, and of course he's master of disguise. So I was just kind of tripping. And of course, I guess he chooses to be bald in his outfit because he has his mohawk, but we'll look at that closer. But on the side of the packaging, you can see that cool artwork there. I do like this one, but like I said, this is very generic, and I've said this before in my reviews. I kind of miss the old days of that cool artwork they used to do. I really think that was it just made it unique. And for me, if I wanted to collect the boxes, I would have kept them for that artwork. So this is kind of you know, it looks cool, but you know, it's not it's a nice picture, but it's just kind of basic. He is 192 in the line. On this side, his attributes, and then another little portrait and that QR code. And then here he is in the night, standing on, I guess, what do they call those houses? I don't even know those houses, but this looks like a Japanese house that he's on. In the moonlight, he looks really cool. Like, I mean, look at that. Like, it looks really neat. So I'm excited about this one. Let's get this guy out of the package and take a closer look at the GI Joe Classified Ninja Force Zartan figure. All right, here is Zartan out of the packaging, looking really cool. I'm loving those colors. I just find it funny how people are like hating that they got those bright colors. These colors are not as bright as they probably would have been back in the 80s, but he looks pretty cool. I'm actually feeling this a lot. So let's get a closer look. Let's just jump in and look at the face sculpt. Look at that. I'm loving that look of him. Of course, he has those diamonds on his over his eyes, you know, kind of diamond thing going there. Those eyes are just crazy. And he is not afraid to wear mascara, okay? Now, the thing I think is funny is that, like, he has a mohawk. So I'm a little, like, confused because isn't he bald, right? So does he choose not to have hair? Is that what's going on? Because honestly, in the cartoon, I honestly thought that hood was his hair. But it's not. It's a hood covering his bald head. So now he has a mohawk, which looks really cool. I like the way they designed that. That looks really neat. And then you got that jacket down here, the leather jacket with the sleeves cut off. You got some chains on this side, and then another big red chain around it. I'm getting like a punker rock feel more than a ninja feel from this figure, if you know what I'm saying. But, you know, he's got those muscles on the side, the bare arms, and he's got the, you know, the spiked, definitely, I'm sorry, this is punk rock. This is not Ninja Force. He's got that the spiked bracelet there, and then he has this armband with more kind of like a shredder thing going on here, and his black glove. Going down, he's got, of course, his signature belt with that you know, that bull skull thing going on there. And then, you know, kind of like a Lego belt, sort of. And then you got those green pants. And then I guess this is a side thing for some of the weapons, I guess. Some of probably the knives that come with him go there. The daggers go there. And then you got the knee pads in this purple. You know, I think it's the purple that people are like turned off by. Like, oh, you know, it's so funny back in the day, like men can wear purple, they couldn't wear pink, and it's just so stupid. Like, colors are colors, you know what I'm saying? And this looks good on him. You got the purple shin guards also, the boot right there, and then he has some more purple there on the front. There's like a paint rub on that, probably from the steel toe silver on here. Kind of like, I feel like the boots look like from what's his name, Major Blood, maybe, I don't know. But yeah, this guy, it looks really cool. But like I said, I'm getting more of a punk rock version. I'm not really getting anything ninja on this guy. The only thing ninja about this guy is his weapons, which is very interesting because he does come with a lot. Of course, he has his bow, which is really cool. You know, different type of bow than we've seen before, I believe. I don't think anybody's had this one before. So it's just all on this black. I really wish they would do some accents on here. Would it be too much money just to add a little bit of color onto these black parts? Is that too much to ask? So you got the bow there. And then the arrows are kind of stacked in this little red piece, and I'll figure out where they go, but there's not a single arrow that comes out. It's just a little piece, so I'll figure out where that goes in a minute. And then we have two of his little daggers. You know, we've seen these before. Of course, he put the finger in the middle there, and then, you know, so I mean, I basically know they probably go on the side of the figure. And then we have his little axe or sheath, you know. So it has a little silver handle and then the silver blade there. And then he comes with two different type of swords, short swords. You know, one smaller than the other. So there's a kind of like a ninja thing going on there. And then here's a different one on this one. Snakes, like, what is it, snakes? I don't know. Was it snakes or serpents or something? I can't tell. Or dinosaurs? I don't know. And then he, oh, sorry. Hey, when I hit the camera. And then he has his backpack that has places for those two swords. And then finally he has, I guess, multiple arrows that he can shoot out, I guess? Or is it just, I don't know how this works. You know, and I don't know, like I always felt like Classified in a sense kind of should come with a little bit of instructions. I just threw the box away. Let me grab it so I can kind of figure out how this goes. Oh boy. Okay, so this goes on here. So, all right, let's go and get this guy together on camera, you know, just for the fun of it, you know, because I like doing that. So I guess these go here. So yeah, Ninja Force Zartan, interesting. I wonder if they're gonna do a Ninja Force Baroness. That'd be kind of cool, right? So I think this goes like that. Oh wait, hold on, let's see. Yep, it claps on here. Okay, and then so yeah, the arrow goes. Interesting. I'm trying to see. Because there's a little diagram on the end there to show. Something. Oh, okay, I got it. So I think this comes off. This part comes off here. And then you just put that in there, which kind of. Interesting. A little bit of assembly required, but I guess the arrow goes like through there. Did I do it right? Yeah, because it gets you back here. The little diagram of what it's supposed to look like. Yeah, I think I did it right. So anyway, so you can basically hold them with the arrow like that, and it goes through that. So the only thing though is I don't think there's any storage for this. If you don't want to place it on there, and then of course you got this thing where you're gonna put this. So that's the only thing. Unless it goes. Hold on, let me take this off again. Maybe it goes through here like that. Maybe that's better. Anyway. Does it go straight like that? I think so. Maybe? Or is it looks crooked. So that's what I'm saying. Like, where else would it go? It looks weird when it goes on the top. Oh, there we go. I guess it goes like that. Yeah, so I gotta find a spot for this thing. Anyway, so let's go ahead and get the knives on the backpack, or the swords. Yeah, like I said, I think it's kind of weird that we have a Ninja Force Zartan. I guess it goes like that. No space for this to put this anywhere, so I guess he has to hold it, but I'd rather not, because I'd rather use, you know, kind of pulls that out. So I gotta kind of look up some things, but I like how they did the storage on the arrows right with the thing. So it looks really cool. So yeah, let's get this guy all set up, and we will talk about my final thoughts on him. We'll be right back. All right, here are my final thoughts on the G.I. Joe Classified Zartan from the Ninja Force subline. Pretty good looking figure. Like I said, I really feel like he's more like a punk rocker type guy rather than a ninja, you know. But that's the way it was. I think there's also an iteration of Cobra Commander in Ninja Force, so that's interesting. But yeah, this is a really cool figure. I love the colors. I love everything that goes. The leather jacket is really neat. The mohawk is cool. So, you know, a lot of cool accessories. You know, yeah, no, he's really cool. I think he's awesome. So right now he is a Target exclusive. So you might be able to find him probably at one of your local stores. I'm sure they're probably going to release more. They eventually release some, and then they've seen some, you know, trickle down the line. Also has Repulse, also has known to restock some. So if you didn't get them, I wouldn't pay, you know, scalper prices. But if you really want this guy, he's worth it. I mean, he's pretty good. All right. So let me know anything in the comments. And until next time, we will see you later.
Ladies and gentlemen,
make sure you like, share, and subscribe.